Good afternoon. My name is Donna Fiesel, and I'm your host of The Edge on IAC Radio, your source for news and entertainment. You may also find us on television, channel 182 on Charter Communications and Abundant Television, found on Roku, Apple TV, and Amazon Fire. You can also find our podcast, thenetcasters.net. Really happy to be associated with them. And also, if you would like to send a message anytime, whether it's some research you would like for me to do for you, and I love research, or if you can find a topic you would like for me to cover, send an email to Donna at donnasedge.com. One of those topics was, should we vote? And what are the laws that are in the state of Alabama about voting? And I just wanted to tell you, I found, now Wes Allen is our new Alabama Secretary of State. We'll have an interview with him coming up pretty soon. But I found this straight from the website from the Alabama Secretary of State. Now, most of these apply all over the country, but you can check with your Alabama or with your Secretary of State's website. Just type in your state and Google that, and then Secretary of State, and you'll be able to find all of the laws that are involved there. Again, most of these are pretty much well all over the country. So the number one question, frequently asked question, is why should I vote? And so let's go ahead, and because you should vote no matter what, no matter what's happening in the country, no matter what you think happened on the last few elections, you still have to vote. Don't stop, okay? It's really important. For your voice to be heard, every Alabamian should vote. It was such a disappointment when I found out. I actually helped with the voting in the town I'm in, and I was really surprised at the low turnout. It was really shocking. And then I found throughout the entire state of Alabama it was a low turnout. So a lot of things could have been maybe differently had everyone turned out and responded. Your voice is very, very important. Now, I mentioned to you on several shows about a lady I know who's in the area I live in, and she was running for office, didn't get it. She lost it by just a few votes, and she found out her kids did not vote. And she told me about that, and I said, oh, wow, I bet Thanksgiving and Christmas was really something at your house that year. And she said, oh, yeah, a lot of coal put in the Christmas stockings that year. But vote. It's so important. If this lady's kids voted, she would have actually won the race. Voting is fundamental to our constitutional republic, and your civic participation is critical to our success as a state. We need to be a state leading in that department. You can find a link on the sos.alabama.gov website to register or to update your registration information. If you've moved, you need to go ahead and make sure they have all that information correctly. You can also find information about upcoming elections in your area by clicking on various links. Another question, I turned in a voter registration application. Am I registered to vote? Okay, now just because you turned in a voter registration application does not necessarily mean you're registered to vote. So once your application has been processed by your local board of registrars, you should receive an acknowledgement from the registrars indicating the status of your application. Now, this acknowledgement will usually be a voter identification card, and this is confirming that you are registered to vote. It's extremely important you work on this way before voting day, okay? You need to jump on that real quick. However, if your application was incomplete, you may receive a letter requesting additional information to complete your application. But if you're unsure about the status of your application, you can always call your local board of registrars or visit the polling place and registration status page. And all of that is on this website, sos.alabama.gov. Okay, here's another question. I turned 18 after the voter registration deadline, but before the election. Can I vote in the election? That's a good question. Yes, as long as you turn 18 on or before election date. Even if your birthday is after the voter registration deadline, you can apply for voter registration and participate in that election as long as you meet other voter qualifications. Please note that you must turn your voter registration application in before the 14th day close to for voter registration. And I was really pleased when I was working on voting day. And I was noticing a lot of young people who were coming in with their parents and they were old enough to vote, and they were so excited. And I noticed a lot of the parents who were, and some grandparents who were walking in with the kids, and so they were saying, "Now, are you sure this is who you're going to vote for?" And it's really important that all of us do some research before we pull, and before we decide who we're going to vote for as well. That's part of your duty as well. Go around. Don't listen to sound bites, though. I never do that. A sound bite is never, ever going to be the complete reading of what that candidate is about. Okay, so I could take anything. I can make anything sound any way I want to. You've all heard when you were in school, maybe we had a teacher, I think it was in the 4th grade, Miss Anderson. And so she actually whispered in the ear of one of the students at the front of the class and had them turn around and repeat what she said. She said, "The car is red." By the time it got back around to the room, there was about 20-something of us in the class. By the time it got back around, it had nothing to do with the car and nothing to do with even a color. So you really need to be in person and listen to people and find out what they're all about. That's extremely important. Okay, let's see. Here's another good question. How can I become involved in the electoral process as a high school or college student? I'm really proud of the students who want to go ahead and get involved. It's extremely important. So Alabama Act 2019 476 allows eligible high school and college students to intern as unpaid student poll workers. The students must be recommended by their principal or other school official and must be at least 16 years of age at the time of the election. So yeah, go ahead and do it. There's also a link on this website. Again, that's sos.alabama.gov. And you'll be able to find information about that as well. Okay, this is another good one. I have moved from one part of the country to another, and I want to vote. What should I do? Thank you for your enthusiasm. You must contact the Board of Registrars and submit an update to your voter registration record. Remember, where you live determines who represents you. And especially right here in our county we are in is divided into so many sections, it's unreal. It's hard to know who your person is. So you can find these things out. So you need to know that. So they've got to have your exact address. Now let me tell you something. So we live in Geraldine, Alabama, and so we had a P.O. box. And what I noticed is I was getting everything, my P.O. box was in another town, not in the town I live in. And I just noticed I was getting some information that was kind of conflicting. So I thought it might be really important I get in contact with the Board of Registrars and let them know that I actually live in Geraldine. The P.O. box was in 5. So anyway, you need to do just little things like that can really mess you up and delay you when you're trying to vote, okay? Because what happens, everything's done electronic. And if you haven't straightened that out, they're going to show old information once you get there. So everybody in line is going to be aggravated because you're taking up time in the line. It's just a whole lot quicker to go ahead and get those things straightened out. I would do it tomorrow. When you've watched this show, turn right around and call. Make sure your information is correct. There were some issues, I know last time, with the dates of birth for some reason. And some people, their date of birth was not in the computer like in real life. So let's say somebody was born in 1959, it was showing they were born in 1957. Well, then they couldn't vote. I mean, it has to be exactly correct, everything along with your birth date. So make sure you do that. Okay, now when you move across country lines or county lines, you must register to vote within your new county of residence. Voter registration does not automatically follow you from one county to another. So you need to get in contact, make sure they know this. Okay, so it's the day before the election. I forgot to register to vote. Is it too late? Don't wait until the last minute, but let's find out. Yes, it's too late to register to vote for that election. To participate in an election, you must submit your application before registration closes for that election. The registration is closed during the 14 days prior to an election and on election day. Okay. Wes Allen, by the way, is our new Alabama Secretary of State, and you can request questions with him also. Just go to the SOS, the Secretary of State, sos. sos.alabama.gov if you're living in Alabama. If you live in another, sos.georgia.gov, and you'll spell out Alabama, you'll spell out Georgia, you'll spell out whatever your state is, okay? All right, so what if I make a mistake marking my ballot? Ooh, what if I make a mistake? We can get in a hurry. We can have friends walk up to us. It's actually kind of like family reunion, and you'll see your neighbors you haven't seen since the last election, and so you get started talking, and you look down and oops, I made the wrong mark. It can happen. Okay, so if you have not already placed your ballot in the electronic tubulator or your ballot box, you may ask a poll worker for another ballot. Okay, now there's a process to that too. So the poll worker will spoil your first ballot so that it cannot be counted or reused. And they'll initial it, they'll do everything they need to do just to make sure everything is cool, okay? So yes, if you made a mistake, by all means, okay, go on ahead and get that fixed. Okay, one more question, then we'll go into a commercial break. Are candidates allowed to campaign outside my polling place? Yes. Electioneering or campaigning is permitted outside the polling place. However, this activity must not be closer than 30 feet to the entrance at the polling place. Now, if the polling place is located in a room within a building, the campaigning must not be closer than 30 feet to the entrance of the building. It's okay for them to be out there, and they know where they're supposed to be as well. Okay, let's see. I think we can go ahead and go into a commercial break, and we shall be right back in just a minute. So y'all hang in there, okay? At Lamone's Mexican Restaurant, located in Henniger, Alabama, and voted Best Mexican Restaurant of DeKalb County, Alabama 2020, we're here to serve you with authentic Mexican cuisine. Order easily online by going to lamonsmex.com or call 256-657-3999 to place your order. We're open Sunday through Thursday, 11 a.m. to 9 p.m., and Friday and Saturday, 11 a.m. to 10 p.m. Whether you're celebrating a cozy date night for two or a celebration for a crowd, at Lamone's you'll love our atmosphere and friendly servers. Thank you for dining with Lamone's Mexican Restaurant. At Liberty Bank, we're all about community, whether it's to help with a charity fundraiser or help families in need. Toys at Christmas or a local football team, we're here for you. You see, we realize the importance of family. Sometimes it's to build a new home or necessary home repairs. We're here for you. If you like the feel of a small town bank with all the conveniences of a big city bank, we're here to serve you. You will find us at any of our convenient locations in DeKalb, Marshall, Etowah, and Blount counties in North Alabama. You can call and speak with any of our friendly staff at 256-659-2175 or check us out on the web at libertybankal.com. And thank you for your support of our community. Member FDIC Equal Housing Lender. Jeff McCurdy of the McCurdy Law Firm has been a public service of this area for over 10 years. McCurdy, a member of the Henniger City Council, serves as prosecutor for the town of Sylvania and was named public defender for the city of Rainsville. The McCurdy Law Firm is located at 17326 Alabama Highway 75 in Henniger to better represent his Jackson and DeKalb County clients. If you need to be represented by a true public servant with proven success, call Jeff at 256-996-8701 or send a private email to mccurdylawfirm@gmail.com. No representation is made that the legal services performed is greater than the legal services performed by other lawyers.
so soft and smooth.
It's cool to the touch. How did you do that?
Well, we took MyPillow's patented fill and combined it with this new technology that we didn't have back then when I invented MyPillow to bring you the best pillow in history, MyPillow 2.0. Because of all of you, MyPillow 2.0 has been a huge success, and now we're bringing you our best-selling Go Anywhere MyPillows with the same temperature-regulating technology. Made with my patented adjustable fill and brand new cooling fabric, they're truly the next generation of MyPillow. So go to MyPillow.com or call the number on your screen. Use your promo code to save over 60% on our MyPillow 2.0 4-pack special. You'll get 2 MyPillows and 2 Go Anywhere MyPillows, regular $259.92, now only $99.98. King size just $10 more. This is a limited time offer, so please order now.
The Hatter Cafe and Country Inn is nestled in the northeast corner of Alabama the Beautiful in the delightful town of Mentone. We're located on top of scenic Lookout Mountain near Little River and DeSoto State Park and located only 5 minutes from shopping and restaurants. There is also a nearby community walking path and golf course. We welcome everyone through the doors and we are committed to outstanding service for all guests. At the Hatter Cafe and Country Inn, we invite people from all walks of life to come and get away from it all, enjoy the open spaces, treetop views, fresh, clean air, and experience Southern hospitality at its finest. We look forward to hosting you. To reserve a special event, or if you would love a special getaway at the Country Inn, you can call us at 256-634-2018. My name is Donna Thiesel. Thank you so much for watching The Edge on IC Radio, your source for news and entertainment. You may also find us on television, channel 182 on Charter Communications and Abundant Television, found on Roku, Apple TV, and Amazon Fire. We're talking about election and things you need to know before you go and before it's time for election date. I suggest that you go as soon as possible. Because you know how it is, since COVID hit, a lot of folks are shorthanded. Could be shorthanded where you vote as well. So you need to go ahead and get those things taken care of. If you've watched the show today, please go tomorrow and make sure everything is correct. Again, I noticed a few issues when I was working the polls last election, and one of those issues was there was a problem with birth dates. Just a few folks who came in. But you want to make sure your address is correct. And even if it's off one digit, if let's say you live on 359B, Plant Road, or what, I always think of gardening, Donna, and it's supposed to be 359Z, you need those things taken care of before Election Day, okay? Otherwise, everybody's going to be backed up waiting on you to get it corrected. So the quicker you handle it, the more smooth it's going to be, and everybody's not going to wait in line forever. Okay, so let's go to the next one. Can a candidate assist me in marking my ballot? Can a candidate? Yes. If you ask the candidate to help you. Now, the only people who cannot assist the voter are the voter's employer, an agent for the voter's employer, or an officer or agent of the voter's union. So yeah, they can. I can actually help you. Okay, let's see. Can I wear campaign buttons or t-shirts with political advertisements into the polling place? Yes. However, you should not loiter or leave any campaign materials in the polling place. Okay, some of y'all can be tricky now, so do not leave those items, okay? Okay, can I carry a sample ballot into the voting booth? Yes. However, you should not leave the sample ballot in the polling place. And we were told that if we saw any of those laying around to pick those up and put them in the trash. I thought it was pretty cool. I could see the parents who had been talking to their kids about voting, and some of the parents and their kids were walking in with these sample ballots. And so I saw them sitting at tables. I just thought it was kind of cool how parents were being with their kids, and it's an important day in your life. I mean, I remember the first time I voted, it was almost like learning how to drive the car and getting my driver's license. It was that important. But now I came from a political family. Okay, Dad Democrat, Mom Republican. So you can just about imagine how dicey that could be. Okay, now, if there's another question, which is a good one. And by the way, Wes Allen, Alabama Secretary of State, you can get in contact with him. On his website, you'll see his telephone number. And also, if you would like to, you can send an email. We're going to have Mr. Allen also on the show. Okay, if constitutional amendments are included on the ballot, must I vote on them? That was a common question. I got that one a lot when I was working the polls. So here's the answer. No, you're not required to vote on constitutional amendments. Also, you're not required to vote in all races in the ballot. Participation is your choice. Okay, most folks say, well, I got to vote on everything on there. No, you don't. If you don't understand an amendment, and we're going to have shows on the amendments so that you can get a better grasp of what they're all about. And I'm pretty sure folks in other states are going to be doing the same thing on their talk shows. But we want to make sure you understand. I'm not going to tell you how to vote. And I mean, it's a bunch of gibberish when you first look at it. You have to dissect it, and you have to really look at it. It's almost like those true and false questions when you were going to school. Those are the ones I resisted the most. Oh my goodness, the true and false. Where's the trick word? Which is the word in there is not supposed to be in there. Okay, let's see. Now, another question is, when I voted in the primary election, I was asked to declare a political party preference. Why is that? Okay, in Alabama, the primary election is part of the nominating process for a political party. It's used to select who will represent a party in the general election. So you are required to choose one political party's primary over another because you cannot participate in the nomination of both parties' candidates. However, in the general election, you may split your ticket and vote for candidates from each political party. So that's important to know as well. Okay, here's another question. What happens if I do not want to declare a political party preference at the primary election? If you choose not to declare a political preference at the primary election, you will not be eligible to vote in any political party's primary election. You are, however, still eligible to vote on any proposed constitutional amendments that may come up for vote. So you can still do that. Okay, and a lot of people in my area vote straight ticket. They're either a Democrat or they're a Republican. And some people ask for that particular ballot. Okay, let's see. And by the way, the website is sos.alabama.gov. That's sos.alabama.gov. Okay, now here's another question. This is a good one too. All these are really, really good questions. I voted in my political party's primary election. My party is not having a runoff. Can I vote in the other party's runoff? No. In 2017, the Alabama legislature passed Act 2017-340. The act prohibits a person from voting in one political party's primary election and voting in a different political party's runoff election. Therefore, if you vote in a primary election and want to vote in a primary runoff election, you must vote in the primary runoff election of the same political party that you chose in the primary election. Now remember, there's the primary election, and then there's a runoff election in a lot of cases, and then there'll be the general election coming up several months after that. However, if you did not vote in a political party's primary election and you would like to vote in the primary runoff election, you may choose which political party's primary runoff election you would like to vote in. Okay, here's another good question. Can I take photographs or videotape inside my polling place? Each voter has a right to cast a ballot in secrecy and in private. Now, the U.S. Department of Justice has advised that photography or videotaping inside a polling place does not serve any useful purpose and may instead actually intimidate voters who are exercising their right to vote. However, voters are permitted to take a picture of themselves with their ballot as long as they do not disclose the content of any other voter's ballot or disrupt the voting process. Here's another good question. Can I take a cell phone into my polling place? Yes. However, use of the phone in the polling place should not disturb other voters or disrupt the polling place. Now, if your cell phone has a camera, you cannot take photographs or film video inside the polling place. Each voter has a right to cast a ballot in secrecy and in private. Again, you've got to respect other folks' privacy. The U.S. Department of Justice has advised that photography or videotaping inside a polling place does not serve any useful purpose and may instead actually intimidate voters who are exercising their right to vote. Totally agree with that. Okay, now here's the last question right here, and then we're going to discuss this just a little bit farther. It says, I do not see my question on this page. What do I do now? Really easy. If your question is not addressed on this page, you can call the Elections Division at 1-800-274-8683. That's 1-800-274-8683, or you may call 334-242-7210. So this is the website, sos.alabama.gov, strictly for Alabama. And also, I wanted to click on the link while we're there. Now, your particular state is sos.arizona.gov. Okay, now I wanted to mention that these, I've got just a few minutes, but I wanted to just kind of get in on this. So, electronic voter registration application, and I just wanted to tell you a few things that have to be, okay? These are the rules. To submit an application to register to vote, you must meet the following requirements. First of all, you must be a citizen of the United States. Now, this is to Alabama's website, Secretary of State, okay? With Wes Allen, who is our Alabama Secretary of State. You must be a citizen of the United States. You must live in the state of Alabama. You must be at least 18 years of age on or before Election Day. You must not be barred from voting by reason of a disqualifying felony conviction, and you must not have been judged mentally incompetent in a court of law. You will be required to present a valid photo identification when you vote in your polling place or by absentee ballot unless exempted by law. When I was working once in the polling place, I had folks who were coming in and they didn't want to show me their ID. And I lived in North Carolina for a really long time, and I'd really forgotten a lot of folks. And so I said, well, you must. And so one guy got a little testy with me about it. And I said, look, it's been years since I've lived here. I've been living here a couple of years, and this is the first time I've worked at the voting place. I don't know who you are. So I've got to see your ID. And I did make him go out to the car and get it. So he did go out and get his ID and bring it in. If you got nothing to hide, I mean, why would you resist that? You know, if you've got, it's a rule. You must do it. So it's quicker for everybody else. It's better on the people who are working at the ballot. It's just handier for everybody else if you'll just do what you're supposed to do. You got to show ID if you get cigarettes, and a lot of you don't mind doing that. So you got to show ID as well. Thank you so much for watching. My name is Donna, and I am your host of The Edge on IC Radio, your source for news and entertainment. You may find us on television, channel 182 on Charter Communications and Abundant Television, found on Roku, Apple TV, and Amazon Fire. Wes Allen is our new Alabama Secretary of State. If you have questions for him, you can go to the website, sos.alabama.gov. Thank you so much for watching.